Okay, we're going to go over the Lombart CVS version 5 software system for both the PC and the Mac. I'm going to ad-lib this during the entire time, so I'll try to make it as professional as I can, but I will probably have some goof-ups too along the way. They will not be on the outtakes at the end of the movie either. I will try to delete them out if I can, but I won't make any promises. Okay, so this is the Lombard, whether it's the PC version or the Mac version, basically the icon is the same. You just click on the CVS icon, double click it. It's going to start the program. And after the program comes up here, yes, we'll see we're version 5.3 right now for this one. We're going to get the standard letters coming up. What we're going to do is we're going to go over all the menu options available for the program, so we know exactly what menus are offered for each category. So in order to bring this up, you can right-click on the mouse, and you will get your panel over here on the right-hand side, which starts off with Opti-Care. However you want to start off with, you can set this column here, sets whatever you want to start out with. Most people start out with Opti-Chart, that's the default. You can also set the letters 2100, 2250, whatever you want to set it to, you can set it to. Most people start out with the 2100 line. Okay, so that's what comes up when you first start the program. You can then this is what do you want to show, and then this is how do you want to show it. Tumbling ease, pediatric, numbers, HOTV, whatever you want to show there. And then if you want a single line, a single letter, a single column, single letter, single line, single column, multi-line grid. But most people just want to start out with a single line. And that's what the default is. So your defaults are Opti-Type, letters, single line, and 100. This one. Now, and most everybody does random. They want to randomize it when you hit the next chart, or just hit OK on the remote control. We're really not going to go over the remote control functions here. This is mostly all software setup. So that's what that's for. Now over here we have different categories. Preferences, which we're going to go over every one. Calibration, how to set it up. Hotkeys, that's if you're using a keyboard or wireless keyboard. You can use the hotkeys. We'll go over that a little bit. About, we'll just show you what it's about, what version you're using currently right now, and our technical support line and our website. So that's what that does. Hide will hide the panel that we just brought up. Again, right click to bring it back up. Or H on the keyboard, if you're using a keyboard, H will toggle it off and on, off, hit it again, on. Or right click the mouse, right click, toggle it off, on. Minimize it will do exactly what it does. It'll minimize the program down to the taskbar down here. So you can minimize it, just bring it back up, it's ready to go. Mirror, if you're using a mirrored system, that's how we set that. Luminance is also different variances of brightness you can have. You can set it, and I'll show you that in the preferences setting. This is set up for 0. In other words, no full brightness, 15% less brightness, 25% less brightness, 40% less brightness. Store, we don't worry about it. You're never going to use it. You're not going to have an account. You just call us when you need us. We're not switching users, and this quits the program. It'll completely quit it out. So we're going to go over the preferences. We're going to go over calibration first. So what we do is we go to calibration. This is a 23-inch screen. This will come up automatically. The system determines automatically what size screen you're using. Unless you're installing new software on your own computer, then you have to input this in, what the screen size is. Whether it's a direct shot, meaning that the images will not be reversed for a mirror, or whether it's a mirrored system, this is where you put it in at. So if it's a direct shot, you click here. If it's mirrored, here. If it's a direct shot, you measure from the patient's eye to the front wall. Whatever that distance is, 16 feet, 14 feet. We recommend not going less than 14 feet because accommodation becomes a factor. 14 feet or better is what we like. You can go, let's say we're doing 18 feet here. You just put in 18 feet. It will size the letters automatically. Now, if you're doing a mirror, you click mirror. What you do is you measure from the patient's eye to the front wall. Let's say that distance is 7 feet. Okay. Now, let's say the distance between the two walls is 10 feet. So you add the two together. From the patient's front surface of the eye to the front wall is 7 feet, plus the distance between the two walls is 10 feet. So that would be 17 feet. So you would enter in 17 feet here. Let's say you have a little longer room. Let's say it's 8 feet, and let's say it's 9 feet from the patient's front wall to the patient's eye. From the patient's eye to the front wall is 9 feet. And let's say you had a 12-foot room. Now you'd be at 21 feet. All you have to do is enter in 21. The system will take care and size everything automatically for you. For this demonstration purposes, I'm going to go back to 16 feet though, and I'm going to keep it on direct because looking at mirrored images will drive you crazy during this video. So I'm going to go back to direct. I'm going to hit done, and you can see the mirror, it changed to normal setup, straight shot setup. Now, so that's how you do that. Hotkeys, if you're using a keyboard, if you want letters, you hit S for Snell and N for numbers. Okay, this is also in the manual as a printout too, in the PDF manual. Tumbling E's, Landalt C's, fixation dot is D. If you want multiple line descending, that's a U. You want multiple line the same size, that's Shift U. You want numbers. So that's basically how you can do it using a keyboard right here. Okay, so you can do that if you want to use your keyboard instead. Up arrow gives you the up for going up in size. The down arrow uses to go down in size. So it's basically using the keyboard instead of the remote control. So that's basically what that does. So that's the hotkeys section here. Okay? We've already done minimize, already done hide, done mirror, done luminance. Clear, we don't worry about store my account user or if you want to quit the program. Now we're going to go over the one that where everybody needs to learn everything. Preferences. Right now, it starts out hide control panel. This is on startup. When the unit starts up automatically, hide control panel on setup. This is the control panel right here, this vertical bar over here. Right click, right click. This is the control panel. You don't want this on the chart while the patients are watching it. So that's set up in the preferences section to hide control panel on startup. Use save set on startup. You can save a set of letters if you want to use your own set of saved letters. Instead of having it randomized, you can also come up and have that come up when you start it up. Start the Acuity system automatically. That makes sure that when you turn on the computer or reboot the computer, that the system automatically comes up to the letters that you have set up over here for the Opti-type chart, letters, and single line. That's what will come up automatically when you start. And on startup, we already have it set up for Opti-chart 2100 single line because it gets the readings from here and puts it right here for you. Okay? That's the story there. Now, we're going to click over here on Astigmatism. This is adjustment for the Astigmatism fan. You can adjust many different things. These are the standard defaults. You just click there and you click there, and that's all there is to it. You'll never really use it. Automated testing. It's for studies and results in Logmar. Again, 95% of the time, you're never going to use it. Binocular balance. There's a red-green mode on there. You can center it or you can split mirror it. We mostly in the United States split mirror it, so that's what we do there. Blanking and luminance. Well, you saw me do the luminance over here, 15, 25, and 40. This is where you set the values. You can have 3 different values. It's done on the luminance button on the remote control, which is located in the purple section, left-hand side, top row. That's the luminance button. That's what adjusts the luminance. So if you want 0, least dimmed is the default, and then you can have 3 values set to that. So this is where you set those 3 values. You just put them in whatever you want, 15%, 25%, and 40. The higher the number, up to 100 is the most dim. No number at all or is the least dim. Remember, you can enter 3 sections, and 0 will always be the first one. This changes the behavior when your eye charts are running in Windows mode. You're always going to be running full screen. You're never going to run in a windowed mode. Okay, so that takes care of blanking and illuminance. Next one is chart settings. You're never really going to change these, but if you don't want 5 lines per chart, characters per line, randomized timer, you can do all this, set it all here. Mostly you'll never touch this either. You're going to keep this all on absolute 0 pixels and 100 pixels. Always going to be the same up here for space settings. But if you want more lines per chart, if you want more characters per line, you can do that. Something just happened to the movie. Not sure what that was. Or I don't know if I'm recording or what. Okay, so that's basically all that is on chart settings. Now we'll go to color test. On the color testing, you can have the mirror plates horizontally or random. I'm going to keep them on horizontal, that's the default. Plate height, 9 centimeters is the standard plate size, which is designed for a 70 centimeter viewing distance. So you can change that if you'd like. Contrast sensitivity, normal contrast. This is on the contrast sensitivity. You can change that. That's the button on the remote control that says contrast in the light blue on the right hand side, right above the red green. It says contrast. And that's where you set your contrast settings. And this is always the default. You can just keep it at this. Graduated, these are the defaults. You can set your own defined contrast settings if you want, and you can do calibration testing too if you want. No one will ever use this. Just keep it normal, 60, 5, and 10 is what you really want to do it at. Next one is control methods. There's been different remote controls depending on what type of software, what version of software you have. This is the current one, the one with the blue right here. The older model, depending on what version of software, had orange right here. And the older, even model before that, was a silver remote. Also, too, software, you can assign this, assigns a P. If you're connected to a network, you can manually change the IP address to click on the remote software if you're using the remote device like an Apple iPad or a tablet. That's what that's for, to set the IP address. In hardware, it interfaces with some of the automated phoropters that are out there. It does the Topcon CV5000. It does the Reichert Auto RS. It does some of the old Hewitts and the Hogstrite. But most people aren't using these because they're too expensive still, so you're just going to keep it at none. Cross chart on how wide you want the width, the length, and the dot size, whether you want a light background or a dark background. So that's your settings for that one. Crowding bars, again, measurements of the percentage of the height of the optotype, clearance, thickness, length for each setting, number 1 and number 2. Again, just hit default, and that will bring you back to default. Again, most people don't use crowding bars anyway. Display options, you can have different display charts, monitors, and you can have it being displayed in different rooms or in different, if it's like 25 feet away and you want to monitor by you can have the monitor too, and you can set all that, and that's all done here on this menu right here, whether it's windowed full screen for the doctor's display unit. That's all done right here on this screen. Display options. Filters, again, you'll never use them. It just says load defaults. That's what you'll do if anything ever happens, but no one's ever going to use that. Fixation dot, you can adjust the size of the circle you want to use. You can also change the color if you want to. You can have it bounce if you want. You can have it stay in the middle. So that's basically what that does. If you don't want it to change color and you always want it to be white, you can do that too. So it's all right here on the fixation mode. Interface options. Hide the mouse when the cursor is idle, because you don't want to see the mouse cursor when people are trying to look at the visual acuity. So that should always be on there. Hide mouse cursor when idle. Language, different languages are available. Right now it's French and Italian and English. So you're in one of those countries, or if you're serving one of those nationalities, you can switch it there if you want for your language for these words and all the settings. Maddox rod, how wide do you want it? What color do you want it? Again, you'll never use it, but if you want to set it, it's right here. Media is important. It's where your videos are and where your images are for patient education. So you have to select the folder where they're located. As you can see, you can move to the folder and select the folder that you want. As you can see, this one is in C Users CVS Videos, which is the default. C Users CVS Pictures for the images. That's where they go. And then you can have all these different options. Please select your video folder, placing all the video files in the video folders, so switching between the videos using the remote keyboard and the remote control. Audio, of course you want to play audio if you're doing a video. You can loop the video so it's continuous, and auto mirror so they're not looking at a reversed image from the movie. Same thing over here. You can do auto mirror, and you can dissolve or manually change in how you want them to go from image to image. We just use dissolve because it gives it a nice little effect. And if you have favorite videos, you can do those too, and you can select where they're located, and you can bring that up on the favorites by using a button on the remote control to go right to that favorite video. You have 3 choices of videos, 3 choices of slideshows, and 3 choices of patient education. That's all done in the Media tab here. Notation. Snellen is what you're mostly going to use. ETDRS is also available. Visual acuity, text size, feet, metric, decimal, logmar. But in the United States, we're going to keep everything 2020 in feet notation. So that's what we do there for that. That's the notation. Optotype characters. You can select different ones or add different ones. So this basically, the highlighted ones are the ones that will come up. So in this case, there'll be no M's come up, there'll be no R's, there'll be no X's, there'll be no Y's, but you can choose different ones. The system also has protection in it, so it doesn't come up with foul words, vulgar words. So you'll never really get that type of stuff come up by accident. It tries to do that. It's never happened. I guess never say never, right? But so far it's never happened. Optotype settings, Snellen, ETRS if you're doing that. Pediatric, use all of them. Allen Pictures, Handy Picks, Patty Picks. High quality setting, and if you have external optotypes that you want to use, you can also do that and go put them in a folder, browse to the folder, and you make up your own optotype. Some people do that. That's what that's for, optotype settings. Fourier and vernier. Fourier test the line width, and the vernier test the line width options. 40 is your standard. Now pointers is good. What pointers is, and I'll show you how that works. Menu select. You can cycle between the pointers. The different pointers you have are a red arrow, a lightsaber, which is sort of like a lightsaber out of Star Wars, and a princess wand out of like one of the Princess Disney movies. So we keep that on cycle so you can cycle between them. If you just want the arrow, you can select arrow. If you just want the lightsaber, you can click that. But if you click cycle by hitting the pointers button on the remote control, which is in the bottom light blue section in the middle, that's what that allows that to do. Okay, so we left off at pointers here. We went through that. Next is proxy. Now that's if you're going through a proxy server, and you'll never do that. So I'll just click setup to show you what it is. It's just going to ask you what proxy server type you have, and you need a network guy to do that. You'll never do that. It'll never happen. And then save sets. Okay, click on the setup button to save, edit, and manage your own random charts. So if you want to save your sets, this is where you do it. I'm not going to do it in this video because it'll take too much time. I'll do one separately for that. But you do setup, and this is where you can pick the letters you want for the different Snellen lines that you want. You can have anything you want. In each one of these, you can select any of these letters or any letters that you want to do that. So you can even have them spell out your own last name or your first name. whatever you want. So your city name, you can change these to anything that you want. There's two chart selections you could switch. So switch set A and set B. So these are the letters that you can use here. So that's what you can use for those ones. So I'm going to exit out of that right now. I'll show you that later. Security. Do not require any login, modify any preferences, so we don't need to worry about that. That's what it'll always be. Contrast is this contrast sensitivity on sinusoidal contrast at different distances. You can change it. You'll never use it, but it's here in case you want to put it on. You can change that. Startup. Again, what do you want to do on startup? We went over this earlier. When the first unit comes on, stereopsis. You can have, most everybody does for stereoptic progressions for the stereo test is traditional. That's what most people do, and that's what it is. That's where you'll keep it at. You can create your own ones, customize it, whatever you want if you want. But no one ever does this, so just keep it on traditional. System shield. You can, if you want to back up your settings that you've done, if you're using your own sets and stuff, you can back up, and that's what that does. Update schedule. We offer updates right now. We're version 5.3, but you can if you're connected to the internet, either by Wi-Fi or Cat5, you can ask it to look up at the server and see if we have any downloads, and we'll download the updates in the background and automatically update them. And you can have that done daily, weekly, or monthly. So and you can pick on the day that you want to do it, or the month of the day you want to do it, the 30th of every month, the 10th of every month, or daily every day. You could just look, if there's an update, it'll catch it and automatically update it for you. And on worth 4 dot, the size of the circle, for the circle, again, 150 is normal. That's what you normally keep it at for the worth 4 dot. And when you're done with all these, you just click done, and you're done with it. And that's basically it as far as that is concerned. I'm going to quit the program. I asked you, are you sure you want to quit? You hit quit. And I just want to make sure we didn't change anything. So that's what we were doing. And click CVS again. Make sure it comes up. It'll come up with that same exact thing that we have. 5.3. And it should come right up. And there we go. Again, if you want to hit N for numbers, there's numbers. There's S for Snellen. On the remote control, briefly, the single red dot is one letter. The column is vertical. The single line, if you want to randomize it, just hit the select button in the middle. It'll randomize it each time. I should do one on the remote control just separate. Again, multiple line, you want to go down in size. You can go down in size. On multiple line. Okay. If you want all the lines of the same Snellen size, you can do that. This would be all 2040 lines. I want to go down, all 2030 lines, all 2025 lines, 2020 lines, and so forth. If you want to randomize that, just hit select. It'll randomize it each time. And then the blue ones are, letters, numbers. Let's get up a little bit bigger in size. And we'll go this way. Or the LandLCs, or the kids, or the HOTV, or the all-important tumbling E's. So there you go for that, depending on what you want to do there. And you can invert the screen. So if you want to change the white to black and the black to white, you can do that. And I said the contrast, if you want to put a red-green over anyone, let's go to letters and just hit the red-green. It'll toggle red-green. If you want to do a single line, toggle red-green on, red-green off, red-green on. You want to change the letters, just hit select. It'll change the letters in the red-green. If you want to, pointers. Oh, remember pointers. You're on a line. You have to be a single line to use the pointers. You can't be on anything else. Single line. Let's go to pointers. Click pointers. You're going to get the red arrow. You want to move it over to the right, hit the right green arrow. Go move it to the left, hit the left green arrow. You want to change the pointer, hit pointer as again, it'll change to that lightsaber I was talking about, and you hear the sound, the lightsaber. So you can use that for boys. And we'll just go back, and you want to change pointers right now, you can change it to the princess wand, and there's the princess wand. So that's pointers, and then you hit it again, it'll go away. So you cycle between the red arrow, the lightsaber, the princess wand, and nothing. So that's what that does. The yellow ones are pretty self-explanatory. You want a 2080 line, click it, you'll get a 2080 line. If you're on this one, you'll get 80 and up. If you hit 20, you'll get 20 and up. So that's all the yellow ones. Instant access to those numbers from the lowest all the way to the highest in 5 lines on the screen. The luminance is what I said about the luminance. There's that 15%. There's that 25%. And then there's that 40%. And then we click it again and it'll go back to full brightness. Other than that, there's a blank button. You hit the blank button, it'll turn it black. Hit the blank button again, it'll turn it back on. Other than that, that's about it. I told you about the contrast sensitivity. You hit contrast, you see the 60% contrast there. You can see the contrast. You want to bring it down. You hit the left and right buttons, and that'll bring it down in contrast. If you hit it again, it'll bring it down gradually per line, per Snellen line. So you go up, it'll do that. And again, you can adjust that contrast too. 55, 40, 45, 40, so on up. And you hit contrast again, it'll take you back to normal. So that's basically it for the tutorial. A little bit of tutorial. There's that worth 4 dot which we're talking about right there. So this is a astigmatic dial. The dots. This was the disparity chart test. Can't remember what it's called right now. Amsler chart. Amsler chart. Yeah, Amsler chart. This is the color test. You can bring that up in size. You can cycle through those by hitting the left and right arrows. So you get that. And we'll go back to letters, Snellen. And that's about it for now. Thanks for watching, and I hope this helps out.